Hey everybody, Anthony here, and this week we're thrilled to have Play to Z Games as a sponsor of this episode and to share with you their new game, Ascending Empires Zenith Edition. Ascending Empires is a 4X game that plays in just under 2 hours. You flick your ships across the galaxy, discover and explore new planets, build outposts, cities, research facilities, even starbases. All while your ships and troops compete to complete missions and claim alien relics that will establish your dominance over your opponents. With plenty of extra modules to switch up the experience, from new alien races with unique powers to immense, game-changing megastructures, and even good old-fashioned robot uprisings, Ascending Empire's new Zenith Edition is a unique galaxy-building experience. Use the code POD on their website, playtozgames.com, to receive 15% off your order. That's code POD on playtozgames.com.
Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
Hey, this is Anthony.
And this is episode 521, BGA Fantasy Board Game Draft, month number 3. We like to thank all our Patreon backers for helping us unlock a brand new episode. Hey friends, we're back. It's a regular episode. We did the civilization building. The civilization has been built. It has been saved. It is done. We're good. Right?
We're good?
Yeah, I mean, civilization's in good shape now, right? That we did that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's how it works.
Yay! We have saved civilization, people.
Man, if that's how it worked, that'd be so cool.
Well, look, the hobbits saved Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Anthony, you and I, the least amongst all the people on this planet, have saved civilization as we know it.
I would love to be a hobbit. That'd be amazing.
We bow before no men. That's all I'm saying.
The older I get, the more I love Fellowship of the Ring, because every time I watch that, the first hour, I'm like, man, their life looks so cool. They're just hanging out, having a drink, maybe picking some pumpkins.
That's it.
It looks so chill. I want to do that.
They're chilling. They're farming.
And they live like 100 years, just chilling.
I know.
So cool.
They're 100% doing the Studio Ghibli thing before Studio Ghibli did the Studio Ghibli thing.
Yeah, like when I was like 17 when that first movie came out, I was like, I don't know, it's fine. And now I'm like, oh my god, that's the dream.
Gonna chill back and write in a giant book in a fancy place overlooking a garden?
Yeah, stress about do I have enough cheese to feed all my guests?
Wizard might be showing up anytime soon to shoot off some fireworks. That's good. That's
There's a guy 3 times my height. He's going to come in and blow some stuff up, and we're going to give it a hug. It'd be great.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, so we saved civilization, and with the thanks of our friend Jeff for helping us, smooth over some of those rough patches.
Yep. Extra bonus long episode last week.
Well, he was the host of the Long View.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. If you guys are looking at this and like, I would love for you guys to talk for 2.5 hours, well, go check out episode 520 plus bonus episode. You had like 3+ hours of content last week.
And those episodes are up on YouTube and they're video.
Yeah.
Which we never do.
Right. Yeah.
So if you like us, if you like our adorable faces that save civilization, then you might want to go watch that and then click the like button and then maybe even subscribe or leave a note.
We're so close to the magical 1,000.
I mean, look, man, it's just a round number. That's all I'm asking in life is for just round numbers.
You can do it, people. You can do it.
I mean, come on.
975. We just need 25 of you to go click subscribe.
Yes. I'm just saying. Video people, multiple hours of video on civilization saving. We did it. It's done. Thank you very much. You're welcome. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, it's it. That's all there is to say.
Look, you watch enough of those movies and you read enough of those books, like, nobody knows who the heroes are of those stories. Like, somewhere in a distant land, like, everything's fine. This is the reason. You, me, and Jeff, we saved civilization. Again. You're welcome.
We did it. Thank you, and you're welcome.
That's what I'm saying. It happened, people. It happened on this podcast. You were with us. We appreciate it. It means a lot, but, we're not looking for accolades. We're just looking for 25 more subscriptions.
Yeah.
I mean, they're free.
That's our accolades.
Click
the button. Clicky, clicky.
We like round zeros. That's all I'm saying. Just zeros. Zeros.
Make it happen, please.
I know. Because, once you hit 1,000, then it automatically hits 1,000,000. Then you get one of those really cool YouTube plaques that you put on the back of your video. So everyone's like, oh, look, you did 1,000,000.
Yeah.
But we don't want 1,000,000. We want 1,000.
Yeah. And then 1,000 of those, which is 1,000,000.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's a 2-part plan.
Mm.
And then the third part of the plan we haven't worked out yet. But
no.
We already saved civilization, so
Did we have to do anything else?
I don't know. Is there anything else to do?
I don't know. We get on that boat with Bilbo. That's what we do.
Oh.
Because we saved civilization.
That's right. We're done. We're out. Peace.
We live the rest of our lives and we hop on that boat.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. Another boat. Another Greyhaven. It's fine.
Yep. Samwise Gamgee style.
That's it.
Have your 19 children, and then head off into the sunset. Y'all be fine. I'm out of here.
I'm out. Good job. Good job, people. All right. Well, again, if you haven't listened to those episodes, they're great. Again, thanks to Jeff. That was a lot of fun. We enjoyed every minute of it. And again, March Madness is there. Basketball version's fine, but let's be honest, cardboard's better.
Yeah. Oh, so much better. Yeah.
So, Anthony, for the state of play with BGA, there's actually a couple of things that are going on. Our Patreon backers already heard about some of those things, and we want to talk about what's going on with us. So, first up, by the time you listen to this episode, BGA will be at the Long Island Tabletop Gaming Expo 2025 in Long Island, New Jersey? Long Island, New York, sorry. Long Island, New York. And we're going to have a great time over 2 days. It's great. It's at the Cradle of Aviation in Garden City, New York. So we talked about this before. We've talked about this for the last, I guess this is the third year now that we're attending. We've been there all 3 years. Mm-hmm. Great air and space museum. So come from the cardboard and then enjoy all the spaceships and planes and stuff like that.
It is very cool. Like you come in, there's some vendors, you go upstairs, there's some games, and then if you just wander off to the right and then wander down some stairs, all of a sudden you're in the exhibits and people are playing like RPGs and board games like amongst the aircraft. Very cool.
Yeah, even if you are not going to be able to make it, I highly recommend checking out their website. It's litabletop.com. The opening video for the actual convention from last year, it just shows you a really cool view of people doing a lot of tabletop gaming stuff amongst like aircraft, like right on top of like a bomber or something like that, or missiles. Just like someone's painting a miniature with tiny little glasses, and then there's like a rocket launcher right behind their head.
I love it. It's the coolest looking thing. Yeah.
Yes. So Anthony, would you say in fact that if you did have a conference or convention, you would recommend doing it at a museum?
I think it's the only place you should do it.
It's double the fun. That's all I'm saying, man.
100% more fun.
Yes. So, on that tangent, you
did it.
Board Gamers Anonymous, and of course, our sister academic journal, Board Game Academics Journal, is proud to announce our third annual academic conference on tabletop gaming. And it will be held, Anthony, as you mentioned, as you recommended, as Long Island people said it would be a very good idea to do it at a museum. Boom! The Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York.
It is the place. for play, for games, for toys, for everything. It's like the National Hall of Fame of toys, the World Hall of Fame of video games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all the things. That it's going to be awesome. We're very excited about it, and it's going to be the perfect venue to not only present the research and work of all the people presenting their papers and their research for Board Game Academics, but just to explore the history of play and games and tabletop. Um, there is no place better in this country to do that, and it's amazing.
Yes.
We're very excited to do this.
Yes. So, as Anthony mentioned, it's one of the largest history museums in the United States and one of the leading museums serving families with a lot of interactive exhibits. So, we love it because it has all that wonderful nostalgia of all the games, all the different play activities, the video games, the board games, the tabletop games, the toys, all the toys. But also, it's really a great place for families because the museum is not meant to be a glass case after glass case. It's meant to be interactive play exhibits and stations. And again, that's really what you want for a play museum. So we wanted to house the next academic convention around all those items because really that's what the Tabletop Academic Journal is all about. It's about play because play, as we've known from the very first journal and from some of the great scholars in that journal, play creates culture. Play creates how we see and experience and interact with the world. So we want to be around all of that play. Plus, we want to play with a lot of the toys and the video games that they have there. So, first off, start off with checking out the museumofplay.org. This is a huge and wonderful museum. Like, it is epic. It's gigantic. It's colorful. The activities and displays is amazing. Or go to YouTube, and even better, go to YouTube and watch all the different people who families and friends have attended the museum for all the different things. They had an amazing exhibit for D&D last year that was top notch for the 50th anniversary. And your very own Saviors of Civilization, Board Gamers Anonymous, Board Game Academics Journal, is going to have the conference/convention for tabletop gaming on October 4th and October 5th, 2025, this very year, and we want you to attend. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to see and experience and interact with so many different scholars, game designers, publishers, and gamers just like you out there talk about tabletop gaming, to hear the recent updated and cutting edge scholarship, whether that's curriculum development, stuff that happens in the classroom, stuff that happens in all different practitioners, mental health people, occupational therapist people, people talking about society, psychology, literature, philosophy, history, basically everything that tabletop gaming does and how it affects the world and all the people within it. And also, of course, what tabletop gaming can teach all of us, which is have a good time at the table and to create that community that makes us, wonderful to be around. So 2 days of interacting with some really wonderful people, giving your feedback, interacting, gaining knowledge and experience. And also at the very same time, we're going to have a tabletop board game tabletop convention there as well. So we have 2 rooms at the Strong National Museum of Play. So come for the scholarship, stay for the tabletop gameplay, or come for the tabletop gameplay and stay for the scholarship.
It doesn't matter which one you do. Just be there.
Yes. So I think, Anthony, we can include a link for the museum on there.
Mm-hmm.
We can also include a link for the Long Island one so that you know where we'll be for this upcoming week. And the website, Board Game Academics, is going to have a registration page, and you'll be able to register for the upcoming convention. I don't know if that'll be up at the time of this podcast, Anthony.
It should be, but if it's not there yet, bookmark the page because the URL will be up.
Okay. So you'll be able to register for the conference/convention. We will follow up with a schedule of events and programming and tournaments and games and all that kind of fun stuff. plus all the things that the museum does. So you get to experience the museum through your registration for the academic conference / board game tabletop convention. So it'll be a great time. We would love to see you all there, and details to follow. So check back with the website, Board Gamers Academics. Which website? Both, right?
BoardGameAcademics.com. It should be on the homepage there.
Okay. So check that out. There'll be all the details about that. And then as the year goes on, as we get closer to October, more details will follow. All right. So, Anthony, now that we've talked about this wonderful, great museum, which we've been talking about for the last couple of years now at this point, in fact, because they do a lot of cool things. One of the things that just popped up in our work connecting with the people out there, and again, big shout out to them and thanks for everything, is they recently came out with a press release for the 12 World Video Game Hall of Fame finalists. So I was like, hey, I get it. Toys, I get tabletop games, but they have a huge, as you mentioned, Anthony, like huge World Video Game Hall of Fame there. And these are the 12 finalists. So I thought it would be fun to go through the 12 finalists and see what people think. And maybe some of these actually will get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it seems like they let in about 5 or 6 a year, and they have 12 nominations for this year. So I think we could safely say half of these will make it.
Okay.
What do we think will make it? That's always the question.
Well, let's start out with the first one, Anthony.
Yeah. Age of Empires.
I love Age of Empires.
1997 original, not Age of Empires 2, which is like the big one.
That's the better one.
The 97 original, which is real-time turn-based strategy. So think StarCraft plus Civilization. That's what you got here. I like this game fine. I love Age of Empires 2 a lot more, 3 and 4 even more. So
I think they're including all of these because it says later expansion, spin-offs, and sequels followed.
Oh, okay. So it's not just the first one. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're including the whole.
Well, then this one's a lock. There you go.
I hope so. Because AOE 2 was one of my favorite. I love real-time strategy games.
Yeah.
And this was fantastic with all different civilizations.
Yeah. I played Age of Mythology a lot more than any Age of Empires, but I played a lot of AOE 2 as well.
Yeah. So. It's just yet another civilization that we saved.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. All right. Angry Birds.
Okay. Super popular.
I think the thing about Angry Birds, and that it does deserve to be in a Hall of Fame like this, is because it was the game that broke open mobile gaming.
Sure.
And mobile gaming is bigger than any other form of gaming in the world right now.
Was it a bigger smash, no pun intended, than Candy Crush?
At the time it was.
Okay.
Candy Crush came afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a Candy Crush without an Angry Birds.
Oh. Yeah.
It didn't exist. I'm just saying. Like, Angry Birds came out in 2009.
Yeah.
The iPhone launched in 2007.
Sure.
And you couldn't actually play games on the iPhone until 2008. Like, it was like the next year. I remember downloading this when there was like almost no games for my phone. I'm like, oh, this is really good, actually. So I know people are like, oh, commercialization, blah, 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 blah. But there's like 40 versions of this game, and it's big. So,
like I said, probably provide proof of concept that they can actually play games on there. And again, there's a difficulty, a serious difficulty, challenge, complexity, taking an iPhone or taking a phone in general and being able to play a game that's decent, because you don't have controllers there. It just doesn't work very well.
Right, yeah, and they do it just fine now, but it's been 15 years and they kind of figured it out.
Gotcha.
All right, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, like, you hear that title and you're like, really? But the thing about this game, and I remember when this came out, this was the first, like, here is a cinematic quality story and high quality presentation within a video game, a AAA video game. This was like the genesis of story driven AAA video game.
Yeah.
On modern consoles. Do I think it's amazing? It's fine. It is a little bit problematic in a lot of ways. I don't think it should be here, but it was very impactful.
Sure. Yeah, over 400 million copies.
Yeah. Well, for all Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's the top selling game almost every year. People buy a lot of Call of Duty. I think most Call of Duty games are problematic in a dozen different ways, but they are very impactful on the industry.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I never got into this. My sister did. She was a big player on this. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah. I mean, I played this campaign because it came out and I was like, oh, it's a big deal. And I played the second one, but like, I don't know, just not my thing.
Sure.
Defender, 1981 Defender, which is a old school game. It sold 55,000 units. If that tells you anything. Big deal back in the day for an arcade machine. But it was difficult and had a lot of different mechanics mixed in. It's difficult to describe like what exactly made it mind blowing and different at the time.
Sure.
But it was like, here's an arcade game that's actually hard, and not just like hard to take your quarters, but actually difficult to complete.
Yeah, it was maybe again. I don't know where their rationale comes from, but your side scroller, the shooter, and it was very popular in modern culture. Like you saw it in a lot of TV shows and movies. Again, all about saving the humans, right? Because back then, way back in the day, you didn't get a real strong visualization or emotional kind of appeal from video games because basically all they had to work with way back when was a bunch of blocks.
Right.
And this, you had a pretty cool looking spaceship, and you had humans that, although they were blocky, they kind of looked like humans.
Mm-hmm.
And to take out the aliens, but also save the humans. Sometimes that fell from the alien ships and try to save them before they crash into the planet. Just like, dear God, what is this? And it's like, this is the future of video games, my friend.
Dude, games back then were crazy. They were weird.
They went all out. They really went all out. And
there was like one guy in the office at dark, like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, this will be funny.
It's true. And again, if you ever watched, there was an old sitcom called News Radio, which I was a big fan of, and they actually have a whole episode built around Defender.
Oh, cool!
Which is fun.
I don't know if I ever saw that one. That's cool. I'll have to track that down. All right. Next up, we have Frogger.
Oh, there you go.
I don't got to describe Frogger. It's Frogger. Seinfeld had Frogger.
Yes.
Right?
Seinfeld had a Frogger episode.
I love Frogger. It's great. Like, even though it came out like 3 years before I was born, I played a lot of Frogger back in the day. Yeah,
Frogger was another, like you said, a weird, like, random game. They were like, there's this frog, and he has to cross the road.
Yeah, sometimes a river.
You're like, yeah. So you're like,
and what about it? They're like, it's really hard. Like, oh, okay, cool.
So that was the thing, but that was very big back in the day too.
No, Frogger, like, I'm surprised we don't see remnants of Frogger now, because it did feel very impactful at the time. Like, we still see remnants of Pac-Man, we still see remnants of Asteroids and things like that, but like Frogger seems to have faded a little bit.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to see it recognized here.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, GoldenEye 007.
Oh.
This was my favorite game for about 2 years. I was 14 when this game came out. 13, 14, which was like prime age.
Yeah.
I played it hundreds of hours, probably. I unlocked everything. I got 00 agent on everything.
Wow.
I played this so much. And for purposes of Hall of Fame, this is the game that showed that you could do first-person shooters on a console. Yeah. Did it do it well in retrospect? No, but at the time, it was amazing. So,
and it had like some of the best music ever.
So good. It took a bad movie and it turned into an amazing game.
Yes.
Yeah. Still one of my favorites. I still pull this up on the Xbox every now and then just to play it.
No, it's funny.
And my kids are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This game's awesome."
That's so true.
Yeah. Golden Tee. So you got the little trackball. You probably play this at a bar.
Yes.
We're honestly mostly in the bar. I think this is where I find this most of the time. Little trackball thing. And you're playing golf.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I know there's a lot of competitions around this. It had like connected
Yeah.
play where you could play against each other on different machines. I don't know that I have like an affinity for this at all. That I have to say it should be in a Hall of Fame, but I know I've seen it a million times.
Yeah, like I think you said, the connection to esports that
Yeah.
early on was a big thing, but it wasn't because it was a bar. It was a very a cabinet specific game because of the spinner ball that you had to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was very much like, did you see this?
Yeah.
Whereas GoldenEye was something I played a lot too because it was everywhere at the time.
Yeah.
But I could see passing on this. It's big, but
Yeah, it's a little more niche.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of niche, we've got Harvest Moon, which is a 1996 Super Nintendo game. But the thing about Harvest Moon is, and I loved Harvest Moon. I had a copy. I played it a million hours. But it is a very rare. I don't even know how rare it was at the time, but like you didn't see it a lot. But it's a farming simulator.
Yes.
Which at the time you're like, oh, this is weird. This is unique. This is different.
Yeah.
And now it's like one of the biggest genres in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
You've got.
How did that happen? It also happened in tabletop gaming too.
I know, right? So you had like Animal Crossing, which launched on N64, then GameCube, and now it's on every Nintendo console. Stardew Valley, one of the biggest games in the world. Farmville was huge on Facebook forever, and that's just that was just like a weirdly socialized, monetized version of this. Yeah, Harvest Moon was great. I remember playing this at a friend's house. I didn't have a copy at the time, but and before I got my copy, and being like, "This. So what do we go fight thing? Like you don't. You grow vegetables. Oh.
You do."
Mattel Football 77 handheld football game. I saw these.
Oh yeah,
very cool.
I don't know if I don't think I ever had one of these. This was kind of before my time a little bit. So, but I remember this was iconic. Like you see this in a lot of movies too.
Oh yeah, it's in The Simpsons, right? Like
I think it's in Guardians of the Galaxy, like the second or third one.
Yeah.
I think that's Star-Lord pulls it out in like a modified version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very big thing because again, video games you didn't have handheld consoles or phones, right?
It's just like a little pixel and it goes beep, beep, beep. Great.
I'm surprised. I don't know if Madden was already taken at some point earlier.
I bet it is. I bet it's already in there.
Sure.
Yeah, because the next nominee is NBA 2K.
Yeah.
And I can't see them nominating NBA 2K before Madden football.
Yeah, Madden leads off on that.
Yeah. So NBA 2K, it started in 99. It's still going today. This is like the NBA game. Because, the licensing things. Hundreds of millions of players. It's one of the best sports simulation games. If you like basketball, this is what you want to play. I've played a few of them over the years. I fell off basketball back when they took the Sonics out of Seattle, but before that, I played a lot of these.
Gotcha.
Quake.
You
ever play Quake?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Quake's good. This is like the multiplayer only one, right? It's like 3D first person shooter, but like only multiplayer.
Yeah, this is again another one of those super early, fields for that. First person shooters were like the thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Like major.
90s, yep. The PC thing in the 90s was first person shooters.
Yeah, back before like the internet was as valid as it is now.
LAN parties.
Yep, exactly. You got me.
Yep. And then the last one here, Tamagotchi. Handheld little digital pet. I wanted one of these so bad. My parents were like, "No, we're not doing that."
Oh no. You're not responsible enough for a handheld little digital.
I never had a Tamagotchi. I wanted one so bad. Like little 12-year-old Anthony was like, "Can I have a Tamagotchi?" Like, no, you're gonna break it. No, I want it.
That's hilarious.
No, these were cute. These were fun. And yeah, you had like Neopets, you had Nintendogs, you had a bunch of other stuff that came out of this.
Yeah, I remember college students having these. Like this was this went way past kids and like basic kind of toy stuff. I think this will definitely get in.
I think so.
Tamagotchi, yeah.
If I had to pick 5 from this list, I think I would pick Angry Birds, Frogger, GoldenEye, Quake, and Tamagotchi.
All right, I'm going to go backwards here. Tamagotchi. Tamagotchi.
Just Tamagotchi. Nothing else.
I think it's just a Tamagotchi year. I think it's just Tamagotchi. I'm gonna go. Yeah, Age of Empires. Although I'm gonna Age of Empires because I think it's very significant as like an RTS, and I think it's well respected. So I think it'll stand out. I agree with your logic as far as Angry Birds are concerned. I was never an Angry Birds fan. I was not angry enough for it, but so those 3. I'm gonna go. I think the Mattel football gets in because I think for a lot of people that's iconic. So that's my 4. And GoldenEye. I think it's still iconic. So
I think GoldenEye's definitely in there. Like
sure.
just based on what they've already let in.
Yeah.
So
all right.
It's a funny list of what they've let in, though. I will tell you.
It's always a funny list. We always had fun with this over the years too. We've talked about this from time to time. Not the video game side. I think we talked on the just the play toy side. Because like in the years past, they let in like the stick, the ball, and then like Barbie, and you're like, okay,
yeah, why not? That works. Yeah, no, it's good. And like the thing I was wondering about the Age of Empires, like, is StarCraft already in there? Because if StarCraft's not in there, you can't let in Age of Empires. But StarCraft is in there. They have let it in.
Gotcha.
So I think Age of Empires could make it.
Which is another small tangent because StarCraft, the video game, which is like the biggest esports for RTSs, has been announced it's going to get a miniatures game. And nothing else has been announced about it. It's like
literally nothing. They're like like miniature game. I'm like, what kind? How long? How many pieces? How many factions? 3? Or are you doing 6? What are you doing?
And they did not tell Anthony any of those things.
I want to know.
He did want to know, people, but they did not tell him.
You texted me and I was like, this, or this? You're like, I don't know.
That's because you don't have 1,000 subscribes on YouTube.
That's true.
If you had 1,000, they would let you know.
Then I would know. Yep.
But they're going to make a miniatures game, and that's not a board game with miniatures, people. That's a miniatures game like 40. I don't know which one would you say is probably most close to this one.
Oh, I mean, probably 40K in that 40K? Universe. Like,
yeah,
it's space. Everything's attacking each other, trying to die.
And you got the Space Marines, right? So
Terrans, yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be. Yeah,
it's Terrans versus Zerg, and the Protoss are out here in the corner, and that's not 40K, but they can come in and play.
It's still on the same vibe. It's still the same thing back in the day.
Yeah, they turned StarCraft the board game into a 40K board game, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's coming out at some point somewhere.
Yeah.
So save your money, kids.
Yeah, I'm like, you sent it to me. I'm like, oh no, and I'm like, wait, it's a tabletop miniatures game. Okay, I can avoid that. That's fine. Like, I don't need that. I'm okay.
See, I said it out loud. I shouldn't say things out loud. Like I was looking for like a money sink, and I was talking about CCGs. But this could certainly be a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Those first like 5 miniatures they posted, I'm like, those look really good.
Yeah,
like the Protoss, I'm like, that looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's got such a the RTS is so well established with such. I mean, the lore is great. Blizzard does a great job, but also like they've gone through the data, the meta, like infinite number of times because it's such a big esports game.
Yeah.
So this should hit the table really well with quality.
I'm very tempted just to have stuff to paint, but we'll see what it costs.
Yeah, they're not going to crowdfund this, right? It's too big for crowdfunding, right?
I don't know. Like the company that is doing it did Masters of the Universe, which is crowdfunded.
Yeah.
And I think a couple other games that were also crowdfunded. Like they seem like a crowdfunding company.
Yeah, but can you crowdfund a miniatures game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I think we remember the what was it? The Game of Thrones one, but that was more board game-ish.
I mean, it was a skirmish game.
Yeah, all right.
I agree with you on all the points. I just think they will still try to crowdfund it.
Okay.
Because it's expensive to produce. And
Yeah.
that cuts all of their risk, especially right now with all the tariffs and stuff.
It's just so many. I mean, if they do like a 40K version, that's so big.
I know.
You're talking thousands.
Yeah. I know.
Three gigantic races with an IP attached to it of that level.
I know. People are going to spend a lot of money on this. That's the thing right now, though. Like, I'm on a complete hiatus from all crowdfunding right now because of like tariff stuff, and not out of a political purpose necessarily. Just like I don't want to back something now and find out later it's going to cost me double. That's all. It's like something like this. I'm like, there's no way I could do that because all of a sudden, like, there's 40% tariffs because reasons.
Well, the shipping too, just because of the weight of that game, just generally, because it's going to be a lot of miniatures and a lot of books.
Right.
That's not cardboard in that box.
No. Yeah.
So, that'll be fun.
Yep.
Coming to a table near you, people.
Yeah, sometime in like 2 years. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I wonder if it's actually going to be a straight up miniature game, like in the traditional format, or they're going to come up with some.
I don't know.
It's RTS format.
It says tabletop miniatures game, but that doesn't mean anything. It could mean a lot of things. So
it'd be nice if they came up with some kind of like hybrid, as far as like not a skirmish game, but also not a miniatures. Like, I would love to be able to move my figures in real time.
Right.
Get him. That's fun. All right. Well, we have a friend Dave who. That might drag him back into the hobby.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Dave. Yeah, let's drag Dave back.
Oh, my God. Dave loves...
Dave, we're playing StarCraft. He's like, oh, I have that. No, I don't want to play that. I'm like, no, it's new StarCraft. He's like, oh, dang it.
Keep pulling you back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's some of the fun stuff that's happening at this just crazy industry that we happen to be in, and the Museum of Play. So... if you're interested, I think we'll try to come back to this if we don't miss the date. But if you want to check it on your own, it's actually will be happening on their website, the Strong National Museum of Play, on Thursday, May 8th at 10:30 a.m. So we could actually get up early and just like watch the reactions, like the Oscars, or not. That's fine. We could just do it on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's everything that's happening with BGA out there. Let's get on to the episode. Anthony, let's roll for preview.
Let's roll. All right. So I picked a game this week because everybody keeps saying I don't like Ark Nova. And I know it's because I go on the podcast and I'm like, Ark Nova is meh. But I will say, I still own Ark Nova. I still play it occasionally. I think it's a perfectly fine game. It takes the mechanics from a dozen other games and it meshes them together and it's fun. So. Whatever.
I don't know, man. That doesn't sound like an apology.
It's a 7.8. It's fine. It's a high 7.
I don't know. I think we want more contrition here from you.
No, I'm not going to do it. It's not the best game ever made, guys. I'm sorry. It's the thing. Like, oh, I think The Godfather is fine. Oh, you hate it. I'm like, no, I don't hate it. It's fine. Like, no, you hate it.
Okay. No. Look, you can't have it both ways, man. There's only one way. You either love it or we don't want to talk to you.
Best game ever or worst game ever?
That's it.
Yeah, well, I can't do that.
That's another podcast.
It's just a game, guys.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
So, my role for preview this week is a game that is taking Ark Nova.
What?
And boiling it down for some reason.
Oh.
And giving us a new way to play it called Sanctuary.
Sanctuary!
It's designed by Matthias Wig, who also designed Ark Nova, and it is a tile-based version of Ark Nova. So you're still going to build a zoo. You are still trying to conserve different species. It's the same theme. It's the same idea. It looks like the same artwork. But you have little hexagonal tiles, and you're building out a little grid. And there's 135 different unique zoo tiles in the game that are animals, buildings, projects, etc. You still have your action cards that will go into different slots and determine the power of those cards. So they're taking that core element of Ark Nova, it's staying put. And then are going to play projects, play animals, and then you're going to match them to different types of habitats: forest, rocks, or water. So it looks like a game designed to kind of not necessarily simplify. They're saying simplify. I don't think it's going to simplify Arc Nova, but to streamline it mechanically into like one particular thing, right?
Sure.
So Arc Nova, you have a map, you have different polyominoes, you have animals that link to the different polyominoes. This is going to be, you have a tile, you place the tile, you do stuff on the tile. That's it.
Sure.
And they're saying like 40 minutes to an hour and a half, which that'd be great. We'll see if that happens. But I don't know. I don't dislike the idea of kind of simplifying and boiling down what Arc Nova is, because one of the issues I have with Arc Nova, and again, I like the game, I think it's fine, I will play it.
Boo!
But one of the issues I have is that it's doing like 30 things.
Mm-hmm.
It took so many mechanics and so many ideas from so many places that it's kind of a messy game, right? I don't think it's particularly streamlined. I don't think it's particularly elegant as a design.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a mishmash mess, and with all the cards in the deck especially, it's really just like, I don't know, maybe what you want comes out, maybe it doesn't, maybe what you're trying to do happens, maybe it doesn't. Your tableau is what it is. Like, the elegance in that game is in the action selection mechanic, which they're keeping, and it's in the zoo building, which they're keeping, and they're getting rid of everything else.
Yeah.
So I think that's really smart. I think it's probably what the game needed originally, from my perspective, to have liked it better. So I'm pretty fascinated to see how this works. And hey, Chris, it gets rid of the polyominoes. So I know.
I'm sold.
Right? Hey, it's still conservation of animals and species. The artwork is not better, which I don't know why they wouldn't fix that. But
I don't know.
Like, you have one of the top 3 games on Board Game Geek. You've sold hundreds of thousands of copies.
Yeah.
Just make it prettier, maybe.
Yeah. Surprise.
But yeah, the German artwork is up. Artengarten, ein Arca Nova Spiel. So the English name is just Sanctuary. We'll see how that goes. It looks like it'll probably come out later this year around Spiel.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like, the cover does not look like a board game.
No.
I don't know how to explain it. It looks like a kid's book.
It's like giraffes having a time.
Yeah. What's also the first thing that pops into my head looking at this was, it reminded me of, in this case, when Scythe went to, or new version, to Expeditions, because it went to these giant tiles.
Yeah.
Which was like the simplified version of Scythe, where you're just putting the tiles out and you're exploring those regions as it builds out. And that was the first thing that popped into my head, like that iconography, that, set up with the giant tiles like that. So, I mean, I'm excited, but again, I always feel like this game should be more. And you make a very good point, because I'm not sure where it misses. I love the action selection thing, where you pick the cards and you arrange them and you can upgrade them and all that kind of stuff. But the rest of the game kind of falls flat for me. It's not a bad game. It's just a lot of things. And like you said, when you're building this, sanctuary habitat, the challenges with a lot of it is like, you want to build a thing.
Yeah.
But the game seems to like actively work against you to build the thing.
Yep.
And they're just like, what are you doing? I want to build a thing. They're like, nah. It's like, I built this area that does this thing. Nah. Just like,
are you going to draw any cards that are synergized with that at all throughout the next hour and a half of your life? No.
I mean,
okay.
it's one of those things where, like, yes, I knock Terraforming Mars for like that initial card of 10 cards in your hand at the beginning of the game, where it's like things that cost 45, this, that, and the other. But realistically, technically, you could build those cards either just that, nothing else, or build it eventually.
Yeah.
The cards, which can cycle through your hands, give or take, based on the market, like, you may never be able to build a thing or see a thing come out there. And it's very deflating. So,
Yeah, totally. And it's like, I like Terraforming Mars because of that restriction. I think in Arc Nova it goes a little too far.
mm,
And it never quite clicked with me. And it just feels disjointed a little bit in certain ways. Like, it's still
sure.
fun. I like the tableau I build. I like the zoo I build. It just doesn't quite live up to the other things it's based on. But this one saying, like, oh, you take all those mechanisms in Arc Nova and you simplify them, and now it's like a puzzle where you're trying to piece everything together. I'm like, I'm kind of sold on that. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
So, like, I think what Vig made in Arc Nova is a very smart game.
Sure.
I just don't feel like it was finalized. It needed some further editing, and maybe this is that editing.
Okay.
So, we'll see. And I look forward to all your emails telling me I'm wrong. Anthony hates Arc Nova.
Aww.
It's right here. It's on my shelf. I can reach it. I'm touching it right now.
You say that, but this is not a video. It's an audio podcast.
I know. I'm looking right at it.
All right. Well, Anthony, for our roll for review this week, somewhat in a similar context, you and I have played Wingspan a lot.
Yes.
And we just talked about Arc Nova. We like the idea of nature, preserving nature, dealing with those different concepts, the animals, and such. So, a game that I had looked at that was on Kickstarter, but did not back, but it was really interesting, was a game called Biome. This was a nature-based board game for 1 to 4 players. Now, I know, Anthony, just like Arc Nova, you hate Wingspan. You're a Wingspan hater.
It's the worst game that's ever been made.
Say,
I've
people,
only played it like 30 times.
How do I keep doing this podcast every week, people? It's only because of you, people. That's all I'm saying.
It's the worst. I hate it.
Say he hates it, man.
Yeah. I didn't get it early. I didn't pay for it up front. I didn't bring it to my game night for the first like 6 months and play it almost every week. Nope.
He did not do those things, folks.
Nope, because it's terrible.
All right. So, Anthony challenged by Wingspan on some sort. Now, so this game that was on Kickstarter reports to kind of provide that kind of Wingspan experience with the tableau building. And in this case, there are multiple animals and biomes, plants and trees and animals and stuff like that out there on the board. So, the game itself is very interesting. It's a first-time designer, first-time publisher here. And basically, what you're going to do, and Anthony mentioned this, and I'll come back to this in a minute, Anthony, because we talked about like cards, right? Your board itself has 3 different environments. You have a marsh, you have a prairie, and you have a jungle area. And then on the right side, you have all the different resources. In this case, what the plants and the animals need to survive as far as a food source is concerned, or in the case of the plants, sunlight. Your job is to, just like Earth, the game Earth, you need to play a card out to your tableau as long as it fits into their particular environment, matches the environment, although there are cards that let you alter the environment, terraform it, so to speak. You play a card out. The card has a cost as far as what it eats or consumes as far as sun is concerned. You play it out to your tableau, and then it has a special ability. As the game goes on, you'll be able to activate one of your cards anywhere in your tableau to activate its special ability. Special abilities do a lot of different things. This is a very big deck of cards. So it gives you a lot of options to build a very diversified biome out there on the board. And your job is to, of course, score the most points possible on the game. So basically, as you play cards out to the tableau, they're going to benefit other cards out there. And each card has either a special ability that will benefit you immediately, or score points for you immediately, or do a number of other things that benefits you throughout the game. So, as you're building up, for example, birds or rabbits in this game, those animals can produce offspring. Now, those for birds in particular, they need to have their offspring in a tree. So when you place trees out there into your particular environment, you want to place the birds next to them. And then during the, I guess, the spring phase, because you go over 4 different seasons, the birds will produce little chicks. The chicks go onto a little nest that actually, Anthony, this is the part that's going to blow your mind a little bit.
Mm.
This has really cool little wooden meeples.
Okay.
But the nests are actually real straw nests that you put the birds or the rabbits in as they produce.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at that. That's cool.
It's a real thing. It's not a cardboard thing. It's not some kind of
it's like straw, actually straw in the box.
Yeah, so it goes in between the animal and the tree or the plant in which it's housing its babies. And then at a later phase, when you have to feed the offspring eats the food of whatever the mother eats. You have to be able to provide that. For every food that you're able to provide for the chicks or for the rabbits, for example, you'll score 2 points. So again, you put your bird out there next to a tree, you produce offspring, you feed the offspring. The offspring that you do not feed go away. They don't go into detail of what happens, but they go away. On top of which, there are predators in this game, like Evolution, the board game, where like you could put predators into your own particular marsh, prairie, or jungle, and you can attack other players, little chicks or rabbits. And now here's the kind of weird / fun part is depending on where, let's say, the chicks are, the number of trees or plants in that particular region adds to the safety and defense of the chicks because they're more hidden. So that means that the predator player who has the predator card has to at first have their predator card in the same area, the same environment, and then has to roll a die. The higher the number of trees and plants that you have in that area, the higher number that they have to roll to be able to take out your chicks.
Sure.
And they'll score points based upon how many chicks they take out. So the game, that's pretty much the game. It continues 3 rounds, 4 seasons each round. Each of the seasons has different things that occur, and you are building up your tableau. And first person builds up a tableau, and again, there's a lot of different kind of end game conditions. There are also global scoring cards that have special conditions that if you can meet them, you'll score the most points. Very much like Terraforming Mars, like those goals and milestones, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a very big deck of cards. Not to worry, you start with cards, you draw 2 cards every turn. There are cards in your tableau that give you different cards, so you get to cycle through a lot of cards. You can't have a handful of like 20 cards. I think it's like, not sure if I remember off the top of my head, it might be 8 that you're able to hold between round and round. So being at the fact that this does give you the tableau building, does require you to provide resources for your animals and for your plants, also lets you trigger one ability each season until eventually you're triggering not all the abilities, but most of the abilities on your cards. And again, based on those abilities and those cards being next to each other, it is a more streamlined and simplified version of Wingspan / simplified version of Earth, tremendously simplified version of Earth. But it gives you that same feel of, I want to build a tableau that has this type of animal, this type of flora out there, and based upon, sometimes you're dealing with the card deck, so sometimes luck, do you get the cards, you try to mill through it as much as possible. I'm able to build this wonderful world of all these great animals and trees and plants, and again, it's very biologically factual on the cards, basically on what they do. So Biome, it has some expansion content if you backed the Kickstarter, or if you pick it up later, you can kind of interact with the global weather conditions. It also has a number of different achievements, so it's not the same achievements every time. Components are very good. The nests are unique. They're a little too big for the cards, but they are very unique. There's actually a spinner with natural disasters, so it gets a solid play for me. I enjoyed the game. I was surprised. I was like, hey, I don't know what this is, and it also kind of reminded me of Forest Shuffle, because in Forest Shuffle, you place trees out, and then you place animals around the tree. So it had those elements as well. I think this works really well. I feel like this is a very good gateway game for all the other games I've mentioned. And yet it doesn't cheapen the experience in any particular way. So Biome, it's out there if you can find it. And yeah, it's a play for me.
Hey, that's great. Yeah, it looks like it was crowdfunded by a small company. So
yeah, and they're giving
hopefully you can find it.
Yeah, and they're giving part of the money to environmental causes for nature habitats too.
Oh, that's great.
So very cool stuff. And the game components itself are they use some recyclable components and containers. So they were very wise and smart what they did with it.
Great.
All right. So that's our roll for review. Now on to our feature review. So our feature review this week, of course, we're still feeling competitive, even after we save civilization. And now it's that time of the month where we check in on all of the teams in our fantasy board game draft. Anthony, it's month 3. Things are getting tight. Things are getting dangerous. Things are getting exciting.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing out there with their brackets and their games?
Yeah. So here, what we're doing here is we are boiling it down to see who's doing what at what level.
On the hotness.
On the hotness, yes.
Hey, exactly. Boiling, man. Boiling. I like what you did there.
Boiling hotness. So it's going pretty well for most people, I think. Everybody's got some points with a couple of exceptions. And again, for those who do not, I'm sorry.
It's still early in the season.
I don't mean to make it feel bad, but some of these games are just not popped up on the hotness yet. So again, as a reminder, here's how it works. We had a draft back in early January where players of the draft picked 4 or 5 games from the our most anticipated upcoming games of 2025. And now we're tracking it every month to see if those games are on the Board Game Geek hotness. So for some of them, yes. For some of them, no. So we're going to run through today. We're going to talk about the games that are on the hotness. We're going to talk about the games that are on the hotness but not on our list. Because as happens with board games, new games get announced all the time. So we didn't know they existed back in January. We're going to talk about what the games are that are hot right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So let's kick it off. We're going to go down the list here. First up with the games that made the hotness. And we're going to talk about the players that are kind of on those lists. First up, we have numbering them. It doesn't make any sense. On the list this month, Quayside. And Quayside makes the list because it is up for crowdfunding right now. So, hopefully for Tim, who picked Quayside, it stays up there for a little bit longer. But Quayside is in the middle of the pack, about 25 or so as we record this. And we'll keep an eye on it for April as well.
Sure.
So Tim has 3 total points because in previous months, Baghdad City of Peace was also on the list.
Nice.
Moving down here, we have Ryan's picks. We have The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era remains on the list, has been on the list for the last couple of months. This shipped out to backers pretty recently, so people are pretty excited about that one. Got a chance to play that. And then Vantage, which is the new Stonemaier release, not currently on the hotness, but has been on the hotness in the month of March. So popped up there with a recent update. Ryan has 5 total points.
Ooh.
Yeah, Ryan's doing pretty well.
Nice job, Ryan.
So moving down to Nick's picks. Nick has 1 point so far for Formaggio. Formaggio right now currently on crowdfunding. so is currently on the Hotness as well. People are talking about that one. Further down here, we have Dave. Dave has 3 total points. 2 games this month are on the Hotness for Dave.
Nice.
Cyclades, Legendary Edition, which we talked about last week in our Civilization discussion. Got pretty high, actually got to the final 8 or so games.
Wow, yeah.
And then Elden Ring, the board game.
Oh.
Which is shipping out. Famously has a terrible rating. People are super angry at that company.
Yes.
But also, who knows if the game's any good.
But it also puts it on the Hotness because of that.
Yeah, right? Like a smart draft. Like,
yes.
People are mad at this game, so I'm going to put it on the draft. So 3 points for Dave. Also 3 points for Andrew. Andrew has the Great Western Trail El Paso, which is, I believe, on Board Game Arena and also shipping out. But one thing I will say, we'll get to this in a minute, Board Game Arena is driving a lot of the Hotness these days.
Sure.
So, not necessarily on our list fully, because a lot of these games are new, but El Paso is a good example. And then the other one for Andrew is Transgalactica, the new one from Daniele Ticini. Not on the Hotness right now as you're listening to this, but it was for a lot of the month of March, like end of February into March. I imagine it will be back on the Hotness later this year when the game releases, based on people's excitement for that one. So 3 points down there for Andrew. And then last but not least, and, we didn't cheat, man. We drafted like everybody else.
Sure.
But Team BGA currently has 6. That's us.
Yeah.
6 points.
What?
It leading the pack. We have Iridia, As We Dare Tread.
We Dare Tread.
The fantasy exploration game from the Zaya people, which I drafted despite my feelings on Zaya.
There you go.
It happened. Galactic Cruise, the big Lacerda-like that shipped out very recently to backers. And Molly House, the new one from Whirligig Games, which shipped out to backers just this last month as well. So 3 games that just recently shipped. Now, again, it doesn't mean we're going to stay up here. These are all games that just got to people, so they could easily drop off over the course of the next few days, weeks, etc. But at the moment, just saying, we're doing all right.
I'm telling you, brother. It's almost like we have a podcast about tabletop games.
I know. Again, it all happened live. You can go back and look at it. No cheating. We didn't cheat. So there you go, folks. Right now we have it from top to bottom. We have Nick with 1 point, Andrew with 3, Dave with 3, Tim with 3, Ryan D with 5, and Team BGA with 6.
Oh, early lead. That's always leads to victory.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. That hare had it just locked down. The tortoise could not.
That's what I learned from that story.
Yep. You jump out to an early lead, you can do whatever you want.
You can sit back and chill. Yeah.
Go watch a movie, whatever you want.
I mean, every Eurogamer knows that the first thing that you do when you play a Eurogame is you take the spot with the points over the resources.
Exactly, yeah.
Why wouldn't you? You'd be stupid not to.
Don't build up your engine, get points.
That's it. Why? You ever play with somebody who's like new to tabletop gaming and they're playing like a Eurogame for the first time? They're like looking strangely at everybody else. They're like, why aren't you taking the spot with points? And you're like, oh dear God, they don't know. Like, yeah, it does make sense to take the spot with points because how you win the game is with points.
It's true, but also other things.
Other things, yeah. Other reasons.
Oh man, sorry guys.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our board game draft.
Yay!
Now, the Board Game Geek Hotness is how we pull that numbers together. So what other games are on the Hotness right now? These are the games, we're going to talk just about the games that are new and not on our list because they didn't exist yet when we launched our list.
Sure.
So, number 50, Arkham Horror Lovecraft Letter. I know you got a preview of this.
I did. I previewed this at PAX Unplugged. It's Arkham Horror, but a love letter version where you don't want to go crazy, but you can go crazy. Sometimes going crazy is the only way to win the game. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds interesting.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we have number 47, Critter Kitchen. This is from Cardboard Alchemy, which did Flamecraft, so it's got a similar visual vibe.
Very adorable.
You are gathering different ingredients to complete different challenges and impress a celebrity critic. So it's one of those cooking shows, but animals and also fantasy and also a board game. Looks cute.
Yep, adorable.
Yeah. We have so I'm going to mention this one. It's not new, but there's a reason for it. The Quacks of Quedlinburger, the Duel.
Oh boy.
Came out last year.
Yeah.
We'll get to the reason why in a moment.
It's coming.
Suds and Malone. It's a game about mouse detectives in 1940s New York.
Fantastic.
From a designer whose name is actually Adam West. But not that Adam West.
Not that one?
Nope. Different Adam West. We have, moving up the list here, number 42, Dracula versus Van Helsing. This is from a couple years ago. But people are very excited about this one for various reasons, hitting the hotness right now. We have, moving up the list, Tower Up, which was recently covered on Board Game Geek's game night show. Came out last year.
Sure.
We have, scrolling way on up here, number 28, Onward. So this is a game in which you draft different champions and slay monsters.
Oh.
And rally to destroy the enemies of the Nexus. So it's a MOBA. It's a MOBA game. It's on GameFound right now. So it's a competitive game for 2 to 4, which is interesting as a MOBA. But taking all the different elements of like Dota and League of Legends, turning it into a board game, which a lot of games have tried to do.
Yes.
We'll see if it actually succeeds.
It'd be nice if one of them could actually succeed.
And this is apparently a reimplementation of Skytear.
Yeah.
Which was a MOBA game that people seem to like, but was a little bit too much.
Yes.
So we'll see if it boils it down enough for people.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Battle. You hear about Toy Battle?
Yeah.
It's from Repos. So it's on Board Game Arena. That's why people are talking about it. So we talked about this before. Like Board Game Arena is driving a lot of the hotness right now. Toy Battle just recently added to Board Game Arena. Another one recently added. We've got Pirates of Maracaibo up on Board Game Arena. People talking about that one. As well as like a tutorial just launched on there. We have Crafting the Cosmos also up on Board Game Arena.
Yep.
Not a particularly highly ranked game, but it's free and you can play it online.
Yeah. It's Asmodee and it's in beta form right now.
Yep. And it's from one of the designers of Finspan and Monkey Palace, which pretty big games right now. Number 12, Quacks All-In Edition. Here we go. Quacks of Quedlinburg. They re-implemented, not even re-implemented, they just revamped it.
They repackaged it.
Repackaged it?
Yeah.
For dumb reasons. I don't really know why, because the new version looks fake and ugly.
Yeah, the artwork has been very controversial, and it has a weird uncanny valley as far as it's cartoony, and but it also seems like it's AI-ish, like AI did this, but supposedly there's a real artist behind this. It's just his visual style. It's not bad, but it's weird. There's something that just seems a little I get it. They went with a more family cutesy kind of theme, and people seem to be very upset about it.
Yeah, here's the thing: is I could whatever he makes claymation style art. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I just don't like it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying.
The old style is fine. It's busy. It's very busy. I don't even mind that they shortened the name because I think the old name was silly and off-putting to mass market. It's a perfectly adept game for mass market distribution. There's a lot of cool things going on there, but it's the wrong art, man. Wrong art.
It fits the original version. Fits that kind of medieval cartoony theme.
Mm-hmm.
This seems almost like witchcrafty.
Yeah,
which I'm not against, but also it doesn't provide a vibe.
It's weird.
It's just weird, and it does allow you to get in with the base game also to the previous expansions as well as the deluxe components. So I would say at the very least, when this does come out, I mean, obviously Board Game Geek is hating this because they made so much money off selling the upgrade components for Quacks. So this might be financially very viable for a lot of people out there because I can't imagine them like making this a mega price point. Like I think this is going to be something like affordable for a general audience. But, we'll see. It's like anything else. Yeah. Good components. The artwork is its own thing. So,
yeah. Yep. No, I mean, I have my old version. It's fine. I'm not offended by it. I just not going to buy the new one.
I don't have the upgrade components.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
All right, moving on up the list here, we have a few games that popped up on our list just recently. The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, number 9. Molly House, number 8. Galactic Cruise, number 7. All hot games right now, all getting into people's hands.
Sure.
So it makes sense that they're up here. Number 6 is Echoes of Time. It's a new one from Cranio Creations, co-designed by Simone Lucioni and Roberto Pillay. You all know Lucioni. Pillay has not done anything. So this is like their first game. It is a game in which you are building a group of people to conquer the sources of power. It seems pretty abstract.
Sure.
Honestly. So, about flow of time, but it's a fantasy abstract-y game. Number 5, Defenders of the Wild. A weird one to jump up on the list.
Yeah.
So, Defenders of the Wild on the Hotness, and this is where we click on the link where someone's like, why isn't it on the Hotness? And someone's like, well, I wonder what happened. And it was a game deal of the day on Game Nerd's online retailer.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So that did it.
It's okay.
In real time, I tell you all what I'm reading.
There you go.
So, number 3, Scales of Fate, which is a 2-player version, not even version. It's in the world of Veils of Fate, which we played recently.
We did.
It is currently on Kickstarter, making a just ridiculous amount of money for a 2-player deduction game. But people love Veils of Fate, so I'm not surprised. It's a very specific, clear aesthetic for sure.
Yes, and they do very high quality components too.
Yeah,
like all their games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just fantastically high level. Number 2 is Quacks, the regular version that you'll find in the store. And then number 1 is Sanctuary, which I just talked about.
Sanctuary!
So, there you go, folks. All the games.
All right, everyone. Again, as always, we're so glad that you've joined us, whether it's here, on your podcast player, on YouTube. Until next time, this is Chris.
Hey, and this is Anthony.
And we'll save you all a seat at the table. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Hey there, Hugh from Podderation here, and if you like today's show, why not have a listen to the All Things Nintendo podcast? Hosted by Brian Shea, former director at Game Informer and lifelong games journalist, the show explores the ins and outs of gaming's oldest company and one of its biggest, featuring interviews, featuring reviews, featuring everything you want to know about the world of Nintendo. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website at podderation.com.